You know the feeling. You've eaten dinner, you're not hungry, and yet some part of your brain is screaming for something sweet. You call it a lack of willpower. It isn't. It's 2 million years of survival instinct, still running exactly as designed, in a world that broke the one rule it was built around: scarcity. For decades, anthropologist Alyssa Crittenden has lived among the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer people in Tanzania who still forage for the majority of their food the way humans did before agriculture existed. Her research found something that reframes the entire modern conversation about sugar addiction. Honey makes up roughly 15% of the average Hadza diet, and when men are out foraging, it can account for up to 85% of the calories they consume in a single day. Both Hadza men and women rank honey as their single favorite food on Earth, above meat, above fruit, above everything else available to them. That's not a preference. That's biology recognizing the most valuable substance in its entire environment. And it makes sense the moment you understand what honey actually is to a body built for scarcity. It's the most calorically dense food that exists in nature. Roughly 3,300 calories per kilogram, more concentrated energy than almost anything else a Paleolithic forager could find. In a world with no agriculture, no stored grain, and no guarantee of a meal tomorrow, a food that dense wasn't a treat. It was the single best investment of time and risk a human body could make, and evolution built a brain that would do almost anything to get it. That almost anything is not an exaggeration. Hadza honey hunters climb enormous baobab trees, sometimes over 80 feet tall, using nothing but hand-carved wooden pegs hammered into the bark as a ladder. They reach hives guarded by stinging bees, and they get stung constantly, on the face, the hands, inside their clothing, and they keep climbing anyway. In some regions, foragers even have a working partnership with a wild bird called the honey guide, which actively leads humans to beehives with a specific chattering call. Because the bird wants access to the wax and larvae left behind after the humans break the hive open. That partnership between a human and a wild bird, cooperating specifically to locate sugar, may be tens of thousands of years old. Researchers like Richard Wrangham have gone as far as proposing that the extra reliable calories from honey may have helped fuel the expansion of the human brain itself, because a bigger brain needs a denser, faster fuel source than leaves and roots can provide. This is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a spoonful of wild honey defended by stinging insects and a candy bar from a vending machine. The reward circuitry lighting up in your head right now, every time you crave something sweet, is the exact same circuitry that once made a man risk a fall from 80 feet in the air. It evolved in a world where sugar was rare, dangerous to obtain, and never, ever guaranteed. It was never designed to encounter sugar sitting in unlimited supply, wrapped in plastic, 3 feet from your couch, at every hour of the day. The craving isn't malfunctioning. The environment around the craving changed overnight in evolutionary terms, and your biology simply hasn't caught up. What's easy to miss in all of this is how deeply social the pursuit of sugar once was. Among the Hadza, honey isn't hoarded by whoever finds it. It's shared widely, distributed outside the immediate household, and eaten by the entire camp, children included. The people who took the greatest physical risk, climbing the highest, getting stung the most, were not doing it purely for themselves. They were bringing back the single most valuable resource their environment offered and spreading it through the group, the same way a modern parent might save the last slice of cake for their kid without a second thought. The instinct to seek out sugar and the instinct to share it once someone had it were wired together from the start. Cold climate populations tell the other half of this story. Anthropologists studying honey gathering across dozens of hunter-gatherer societies found something almost perfectly consistent. In warm climates, nearly every group that has access to honeybees goes out of its way to collect it. In cold, Arctic and subarctic regions, where honeybees simply cannot survive, honey consumption disappears entirely. Not because the desire vanished, but because the opportunity did. That single pattern, repeated across unrelated cultures on opposite sides of the planet, tells you this craving isn't cultural. It's not something you picked up from advertising or a childhood habit. It's baked into the species itself, waiting for the opportunity to express itself the moment sugar becomes available. So the next time you're standing in front of an open pantry at 10 at night, reaching for something sweet you don't actually need, understand what's really happening. You are not weak. You are carrying the exact same brain as a Hadza forager climbing a baobab tree, risking 100 bee stings for a food so calorically valuable it may have helped build the very brain doing the craving. The difference is that his environment made that craving expensive, rare, and self-limiting. Yours made it free, constant, and impossible to satisfy for good. The instinct was never the problem. It's simply operating in a world it was never built to expect.